Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest aliens and UFOs update video. Well, I thought I would do this one here because just the other day I had done the new video associated with the Emilcin abduction. I like that video a lot. I was able to gather some good information and then post it, and there's been a lot of views and also comments associated with it as well. Well, just soon afterward, there was a user that posted a very nice comment that went into more detail associated with the main guy from the story, the guy named Jan Wolski. You see, I do read comments whenever they come through my YouTube Studio app, and so in this case, I was able to gather that information and I'll present it here. That way, it's almost like a round 2.0 associated with my Emilcin Abduction UFO. Really great stuff. I love whenever stuff is shared like this because it's a great way to showcase even more detailed information on top of whatever was given from before. And as always, I thank everyone there for your continued comments. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's do this video here. It's the Emilcin Abduction Part 2, and this one will involve more information about that gentleman named Jan Wolski. So here's what that user says. By the way, shout out to that user at Golzagar. He stated this as of this time 2 days ago, and I'm going to read it exactly as it shows. So here's what he says. Hello from Poland. I wanted to share some fascinating details about this incident from my rare book that's entirely devoted to it. Number one, Emilcin is the name of a small village in eastern Poland. Initially, Wolski, again, Jan Wolski, the gentleman that I featured in my video, wasn't surprised by the behavior of the beings who got onto his horse-drawn cart, as it was a common practice in rural areas to give lifts to pedestrians. You see, that was very fascinating. That's the impression that I got from him when I was reading that information as well. Earlier on my video, was that he in turn wasn't surprised by it, and because of it, because of the common practicality, it was just almost like another day in the park for him. Number two is this. Wolski had very limited education, having completed only 3 years of primary school. He had never heard of the term UFO and wasn't capable in inventing such a story. He didn't own a TV and learned about the moon landing from fellow villagers. Isn't that fascinating? So that makes his story even more credible. Here in this case, he didn't even have any idea what a UFO was, and presumably what aliens were as well. He didn't have a TV. He barely heard about the moon landing from some passersby in his village. So him meeting these green-skinned aliens, to him, again, like I mentioned in my video, it would just be more on the lines of it being some foreigners, as he described it. And him having that limited education, that's not a harp on him necessarily. It's again showcasing that there's not much that would surprise him. He wouldn't have something that would suddenly cause him to think if it could be something otherworldly to him. He just logistically thought it was just some foreigners. Number three is this. Wolski was widely considered a highly credible person. He underwent various medical examinations after the incident took place, including ear, eye, neurological, and psychiatric tests. No anomalies were found, and his IQ measured by the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale was 84, which is below average. Again, I mentioned that in my video too, as far as him having that type of credibility where people just wouldn't presume him to make up this outlandish stuff just out of the blue. If he's mentioning something happened, then it really did happen. And in his case, again, tying into him not having experiences or knowing about UFOs or aliens and so on, this would again lead more credence to it. I love that part there, that part three, because it just makes his story that much more realistic, at least from my perspective and hopefully from your perspective as well. And the last thing, number four, that the user Golzagar mentioned is this. My favorite detail. After the abduction, as Wolski was leaving the vehicle, he thought it was polite to say goodbye. So standing at the exit, he turned around, bowed, and said goodbye, and all the beings imitated his bow in response. Isn't that just amazing? Just the idea that Jan Wolski was there, having again experience I had mentioned in my video, what looked like a doctor's visit of all things, and as he was leaving, being the perfect gentleman that he was, he said goodbye and bowed to them, and they in turn mimicked him. What an experience like that, right? Imagine having these non-earthly beings just bowing down to you as you're getting away from their UFO back to reality, basically. And so that is a really good detail, and I love that. Golzagar mentioned at the end, thanks for your interest in this topic. This story holds numerous intriguing details. So true. So there it is. There's the 2.0 update associated with the Emilcin Abduction. If anybody has any more info to share as well, please post it here too. I love doing these updates whenever I can. They're very rare, and I mentioned this in the past as well. I'll only do an update when I feel it's content that's worthy to be shared on my channel, meaning it's got to be like so interesting that I just have to share it. And then that's basically this right here. This information is absolutely shareable. But thank you so much, everyone. Hope y'all have a great day. Take care. Bye.